wasn't too much in there that really surprised me from various engagements you have with organisations, boards, and executives over a long period of time. But what the data does do is, in a funny sort of way, confirm some of that. For example, not surprised that we're really good at compliance. After all, that's where we've been anchored for the last 30 or 40 years. But then when you look at the wider data set and you think about safety from a safety culture perspective, with compliance being a subset of that, the insights from that really demonstrate that we've still got a lot of work to do in terms of migrating from being compliance orientated to having a greater focus on safety culture and the elements of what safety culture is. And so when you look at modules around directors' knowledge and management knowledge, there's some major weaknesses in there. And when you look at audit and verification activities, there's some major weaknesses in there. And so that really tells me that we need to change our focus. We're good at compliance, and that's fantastic. It has a positive impact on reducing harm in the workplace, but it only gets you so far. And at some point, you need to move to the next level, which is what we think of as safety culture.
One of the things that really surprised me was emergency preparedness. It's still remaining at a reactive maturity level. This is even lower for primary industries that often have greater susceptibility to natural disasters. And this is really despite compounding disasters making a significant impact, particularly in the Australian economy over recent years, from bushfires to floods to COVID. We've seen so many businesses suffer great losses through these events, but we still have short memories. When it comes to learning those lessons, reflecting, improving our own emergency preparedness, business continuity practices, and with an outlook from the UN indicating more frequent, more severe disaster events into the future, this is an area where we need to learn our lessons and apply them quickly, not just on paper but in practice.
I think there was a couple of things that I saw, and I think I've already mentioned it around, it really solidifies this compliance-driven, the place that we and lots of people that feel passionate about safety, we discuss it all the time about how we push from compliance to proactive safety. I mean, all these massive books and movements and topics and names for safety differently, safety 2, all of that stuff. And I think throughout this report, I can really feel the problem statement just everywhere, which is on paper, we seem to be good. We're good at the paper. We need to be doing more, learning more, getting more proactive. And I think actually to see it so consistently for how I read the report felt really, I know it, I feel it, and I think every safety person's got it in their gut. To see it roll out and to re-demonstrate itself throughout the report, it felt surprising to see for the first time true demonstration of we're good at the paper and then we need to move forward. So I thought that was sort of jarring in a great way to say we finally have it written down, we finally have evidence from thousands of organisations that this is a problem.
For me personally, no, there wasn't too much surprise, and the reason why is that when we founded Safe365 back in 2016, we did that for a reason, and the reason was having had a significant background in public safety and organisations like Surf Lifesaving, where proactive risk management is absolutely embedded in the way risk is managed. Because when you have a risk in water and it deteriorates into an incident, it's a really bad outcome. And so you have this really proactive default. And what I noticed when Safe3 was sort of in the founding sort of stages is that businesses just simply didn't think about risk in the same way, and the reason why is because they had this sort of regulatory backdrop which everyone was focused on, and so the reason why Safe365 was founded is to help businesses move from being reactive to proactive from a safety culture maturity perspective. So that back in 2016, I suppose that was a bit of a gut instinct and an observation from me. But I fast forward on to 2024, and now that's sort of validated by a really significant data set of real world businesses, a couple of thousand or more of them, who have looked deeply at their business and provided insights about all the attributes around their safety culture maturity, and that has more or less kind of validated what my original gut instinct was. So no surprise there, but validating, and I think it gives hopefully the market and the industry a really good platform of insights to absorb and apply, and ultimately improve the lives of workers in terms of reducing harm and also improving business performance through the uptick that comes with harm reduction.
The emergency planning versus stress test, to see that, again, a gut instinct that I've had forever. I've got a good background in emergency planning. To see that on paper as well felt really jarring, to be like, this is just not just a problem where I go and where I talk. This is a genuine problem across the planet. So that felt quite heavy for me, big responsibility for us in that emergency preparedness piece. And then the director and manager knowledge piece I thought was really interesting, called out really loudly in the report, but just to show that maturity in the knowledge against the framework, against our tiers of maturity, managers and directors really sitting at this midpoint. And I thought that was really interesting to look at. I think, right, what's my responsibility to take managers and directors forward? How do I influence them to feel passionate and inform them more so we can move that maturity on? I thought they were really interesting and surprising things to see in black and white.